So the sleeves are pretty beat up, but the records are actually in pretty good shape. Some writing on the back of that. Got Band on the Run, back with 1984. We got Live and Let Die, I Lie Around on the flip side. And we got Silly Love Songs, back with the immortal classic Cook of the House. So I can get replacement sleeves, that's no problem. And I'm not going to complain because I got these free after a fashion. They were actually thrown in with, bought something else, which I'll show you here in a few minutes, and the buyer threw these in gratis, so I certainly appreciate that. It was nice of him. Hey everybody in the VC, it's Matt again. Haven't seen you all in a while. I think it's been about a month, close to it, since I made a video. Made a video to me and Mr. Mayo's Beatle contest response, and saw where he drew the winners today. So congratulations to everybody that won in that, and it was a great contest. I had fun watching everybody's responses to that. 50th anniversary of the Beatles, and a lot of cool videos that everyone made. So yeah, I haven't also made a video. Well, I wanted to make a video response to Garner Andrews' contest where he asked what would be your dream piece of memorabilia or different pieces of memorabilia that you'd like to own, records or otherwise. He drew the winner today. I just sort of, time passed me by there and I forgot to just didn't get around to making one, unfortunately. So there's quite a bit of things I want to have, but my response to that would be just something modest like Friar Park, George Harrison's house. That'd be a nice little piece of memorabilia to pick up one of these days, and I'll maybe next paycheck I'll get around to that. So anyway, yeah, also I hadn't bought anything in a while, but I just went on a big buying splurge this past couple of weeks, and so I thought I would show off what I bought because I think I got some pretty neat stuff. So yeah, I had some like I said, I had some gift certificates that I got at Christmas, but then I saved up some money and some other stuff, and I wanted to wait till I had some put it all together and get some stuff knocked out. But first up, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this, I don't know if you can see this, but this is Lydia Lovelace's new album, Somewhere Else, which came out on the February 18th. You can't really see that well because you got the shrink wrap cover of it. There's the back side, it's a little bit better. And I want to do a separate video on her sometime soon and maybe do a review of this album. I've talked about her before in the last few videos. I just sort of heard about her a couple of months ago and just been blown away. She's just incredible. Her and Raphael Sadiq, he's also got an album coming out this year later, I've heard, so I'm really excited about that. But her and him are probably the most exciting and my favorite new artists, I guess, for lack of a better term, of the last 25, 30 years, and I just can't stop listening to her stuff, and just great, incredible. Check her out. Check out her website, Lydia Lovelace. And I was looking at her website the other day, and I saw where she's going to play Fort Worth, Texas on Sunday, not tomorrow, but next Sunday after. So I bought tickets to that. So I'm going to go see her in concert. That's going to be pretty cool. Tickets were ridiculously overpriced, $8.75, and she's playing in a someplace called Lola's in Fort Worth on 7th Street, which is a little small club, so it's going to be a pretty cool thing. But I'll talk about her some more in another video. Other than I will talk about this, I got picked this up, which was Record Store Day 2012. That's not a rip on the bag there. 2012 single, limited to 1,000 copies from her then current album Indestructible Machine. The record has Bad Way to Go on the A side, which is a cut off the album. B side is a non-album song, Allison, which is a cover of the Elvis Costello song that she does. Got the record there, it's kind of neat. And you got a little insert inside the record there, or inside the sleeve there, so that's a pretty neat thing. And I had wanted that and tracked it down, and I Saw it around for like 15 to 25 bucks, and I found it on a Bull Moose record site for I think it was like $7, $6.95 or something like that. And I don't know if you know Bull Moose Records. I'm not sure where they are. They're up northwest, up in Oregon or Washington or something, I think. But the owner of that store, Record Store Day site, every Record Store Day, he comes on and does a video on their site that kind of, here's all the Record Store Day records, and he kind of shows them off like a week or so before the actual Record Store Day or Black Friday. But I guess he owns a record store too, obviously. So anyway, I got this for about $7, and thought, well, I'll go ahead and order another one. And I went on their website, and they didn't have any more, so I got the last one apparently. But I'm happy to have that. Her cover of Allison's pretty good cover there, and can't get that on the album, so that's really cool. So yeah, Lydia Lovelace, and I'll be talking more about her than you probably want to hear, but check her out. She's really great. I'm highly impressed, and I don't like new music, so it's kind of hard for that to happen. Anyway, so I'll talk about those other 45s that the guy threw in when I bought another record here in a bit, but I also got this limited edition 45, Out of Sight, The Bloody Beetroots with Paul McCartney. And the Bloody Beetroots is actually a guy, it's an Italian guy who's kind of house music, electronic music, that sort of stuff, which really isn't my cup of tea. But he took a song off of Electric Arguments, nothing much, just Out of Sight, and sort of remixed it to this song Out of Sight. Paul McCartney liked the result, and so he came and did vocals on this new song, sort of a new song made out of an old song. It doesn't sound like nothing much, just Out of Sight, but at all, really. It sounds like a totally different song. This is a limited edition, as it says there, and I got number 2169. Doesn't say how many they made, but and it's the same song on each side. It's the radio version and the album version, and I'm not sure what album it's off of. I think it might be off that Twin Freaks thing. But that Youth guy is also in the mix on this, the guy that works with Paul on the Fireman albums, Electric Arguments and Rushes, and what's the other one called, Strawberry Ocean Liner, I can't remember the name of the other one. But anyway, it's okay. It's a nice little song. It's kind of neither here nor there song. It's not great, but it's not awful. I don't like electronica, techno, whatever, too much, and it sounds like that and it doesn't, but it's just an okay song. So I'm happy to have this though, because it was a limited edition, and I think this might have been a Record Store Day thing. I'm not sure, or maybe it was just a limited edition thing. It's nice to have. So what else? Let's go. I got a bunch of albums down here, and I'm trying to well, we'll go through these. You all have heard me talk about Numero Records, if you watch my videos, that is, anyway, or make it through all the way through them. Numero Records is a great label that releases old, obscure soul and rock and roll, and they re-released all the Shoes albums, and they re-release stuff, and they release old, obscure stuff that's from just these little private labels back in the 60s and 70s. Good stuff, and mainly soul, but they do a lot of rock and roll. This is a big old monster. What is this, a 5-album set? Yeah. It's called Titan. It's all pop. It's on colored vinyl. They're all red, and it's sort of kind of 1978. I think it's 1978 to 82. Yeah, 78 to 81, and it's that sort of the Shoes, the Knack, maybe Cheap Trick, the Yachts, Bram Tchaikovsky, that power pop stuff, of kind of new wavy power pop stuff from the late 70s, early 80s. And so yeah, nobody on here that most people would have ever heard of, but a lot of great stuff. And I heard on their website, I listened to the snippets, the song snippets. but I haven't actually got to play the record yet because I got so many records that I'm working my way through what I got, and I haven't heard this one yet. But when I heard it on the website, the snippets, it's another word for it, I can't think of it, sounded really good, so I'm looking forward to that. And in line with that, Numero also released 2 double albums, Buttons, the starter kit, which is power pop stuff too. That Titan was actually a label out of Kansas, I think, or Oklahoma, and these are just power pop groups from the 78 to 82 era from different record labels, but not major labels, just obscure little labels. So there's Buttons, the starter kit, and then there's Buttons from Champaign to Chicago, which is power pop new wave groups from Illinois back in that same time period. And those are still, I haven't even opened these yet, so looking forward to that. That's a lot of listening just right there. Can you feel the excitement in the air? All right. What else do I got? I got quite a bit of stuff here. This pickup I got courtesy of Mean Mr. Mayo, speaking of which, because I saw on one of his videos he had picked it up, and I didn't even know this was ever out on vinyl, so I tracked it down, and I got this for, well, I paid $60. It's a 3-record set. Kind of pricey, but I figure I just got the Beatles at the BBC Volume 2 record on vinyl, and that was like $59. Of course, that's a much better record than this, but I don't know if this is still available on vinyl. I doubt it. These Paul McCartney albums are so hard to find, the vinyl ones, the last 20 years, so I figured I'd go ahead and get it. I'm going to play this. I haven't played it yet. I had this, I actually never bought this, but a friend of mine had this on a CD when it came out back in 91 or whenever it was released. I guess 90, and I borrowed it and listened to it. It's okay, but I'm kind of like Joe, Mean Mr. Mayo. I'm not a huge fan of live albums, generally speaking. I do like Wings Over America is a really good live album. I like Sam Cooke live at the Harlem Square Club. I like the Sly Stone Woodstock album that they released a few years ago that's only on CD. So I mean, there are some that I like, but by and large, I'm not a giant fan of them. So anyway, but I do like Wings Over America, and Paul's released, I don't know, 5 or 6 live albums since then, and I've heard several of them, and they're okay. I wasn't a huge fan of any of them. They're just okay. I guess they're better than the live albums the Rolling Stones have released the last 30, 40 years, which were all uniformly awful. But anyway, there's that. Another thing I got, this is a record that I had seen this around, seen pictures of it, and had never actually seen a live one, I guess, a real one. I always thought it'd be kind of neat to get just because of the cover and all. And I found one for a decent price, so I went ahead and picked it up. And it is Breaking It on the Beatles tour, Jackie DeShannon. And there's the flip side of that. And it is on Liberty Records. There's that and that. So, yeah, I didn't know what to expect of this. I'm a huge fan of the old 60s girl group stuff, so I like Jackie DeShannon in among all those others. Didn't know if this would be any good or not. Just in case you're wondering, the Beatles are not on this album, and she doesn't cover any Beatles music, and it's not a live album. It's just that in the 1964 American tour that the Beatles did, which is fitting, I guess, with the 50th anniversary having just gone by there, she was the opening act on all the dates, or at least some of the dates, so that's where the title came from. And this album's actually, and it's in really good shape here. There's no splits or anything, but it's a lot better than I thought it'd be. It's just kind of a mishmash of an album. This is made up of some of the tracks she recorded but didn't release, and some of the 45s she released between 1961 or 62 and 1964. So it's just kind of a put together to make an album. She does Needles and Pens. Well, I think she actually did it before the Searchers did. When I Walk Into the Room is kind of one of her big hits that you might know. But the first side is kind of folky music, and it's okay, but nothing great. The second side is really good, a lot better than I thought. Kind of a little more upbeat and rocking music. So yeah, it's. I just thought I'd always wanted this just because I thought the cover looked cool, and didn't really expect much out of the music, but I was pleasantly surprised and like it quite a bit. So there's that. There's another one that me and Mr. Mayo Joe does his reviews of solo Beatle records, and he didn't actually like this one. But and by the way, if I recommend you look those up because he does a really good job of that. But I he did a review of it. This is an album that I remember coming out. It didn't come out in the United States, and I never bought it back then when it came out, and back in, I think it was 81, 82. And he did a review. He didn't like it. Just kind of got me curious. I went to YouTube and found the album and listened to it. And while it's nothing great, I did kind of like it. So I thought I would track down a copy, and I got this. It's in like just perfect mint condition. This album only came out in a few countries. I think Canada, maybe Japan and Germany, and like Argentina or something like that. Never came out in America. Ringo Starr's Old Way, RCA Victor label, upside down there, and sideways there. So yeah, I mean it's you know, for Ringo albums, it's not one of his best, and it's not one of his worst, but I kind of like it, and it's a rarity anyway, so it's kind of fun to have, even if it's not something that you're going to play all the time. Okay, we're at 17 minutes, so I'm going to cut because I still got more stuff, and I'm going to come back and make a part 2. So check back with you in a few minutes here. See you then.